Can you still feel the thrill of watching an image magically appear right before your eyes, long before digital snapshots were even a daydream? The faint scent of a fresh print, the soft whir as the photos slid out, and the gentle anticipation as you waited for faces and places to emerge from a blank canvas, these moments captured the heart of the 1960s one click at a time. Polaroid wasn't just a camera, it was a doorway to instant memories, a marvel that made time stand still, if only for a moment in your living room or backyard. With each press of the shutter, families laughed, posed, and created keepsakes they could hold that very minute. Grandparents beaming on the porch, birthday candles frozen in mid-song, Sunday picnics set in sun-faded colors. Do you still remember the crinkle of that glossy photo paper and the pride in sharing your latest instant masterpiece? As we revisit the iconic Polaroid cameras of the 60s, let's unfold the stories behind each little square and uncover just how these instant snapshots changed the way we remember our lives. Let's journey back to a time when the world moved at a gentler pace, when Sunday afternoons meant slow strolls through the park, not scrolling through endless photo feeds. In the early 1960s, the word instant meant something entirely different than it does today. It meant possibility and magic, a moment captured, processed, and held close in your hand within a single breath. For many, the arrival of the Polaroid camera brought with it an unforgettable blend of excitement and awe, transforming ordinary people into amateur magicians with the power to capture and conjure memories at will. Before instant photography, the process of taking and developing photographs was, for many, simply too tedious. Families packed roll film into boxy Kodak Browns and sent it away for development, knowing they wouldn't see their trip to Niagara Falls or Grandma's birthday until days or even weeks after the moment had passed. If you remember waiting eagerly by the mailbox hoping your shots turned out, you're not alone. Back then, a single, blurry photo could feel like a missed opportunity, a small heartbreak stitched quietly into life's fabric. It's no wonder that when Edwin H. Land unveiled his very first Polaroid land camera in 1947, the world's imagination was set ablaze. But the real story of instant photography in the American home, the one that made those golden squares a fixture at picnics and holiday gatherings, begins in earnest with the remarkable surge of Polaroid in the 1960s. By the dawn of that decade, Edwin Land's groundbreaking vision had already changed the photographic landscape. The Polaroid Model 95, launched in the late 40s, was a triumph, but as the 1960s took hold, Polaroid's design evolved in leaps and bounds. The iconic swinger, which would later define the decade, was just on the horizon, but before it swept the nation, Polaroid had established a footprint in American culture that was both enduring and profound. You might be surprised to learn that by 1960, Polaroid had already sold over 1 million cameras, a staggering feat at the time, signaling a hunger for immediacy and a collective fascination with technological wizardry. What truly set the stage for Polaroid's heyday was its ingenious integration of chemistry and mechanics. Early models required a certain finesse. You snapped a photo, pulled the film from the camera, and set a timer, often a kitchen egg timer, to keep track of the developing process. Remember having to peel back that sticky covering, hands trembling a bit with anticipation, hoping not to smudge the developing image? It was almost a ritual, a dance of patience and curiosity. Far from being a simple gadget, the Polaroid became the centerpiece of countless family gatherings, a device capable of uniting generations in a shared sense of wonder. The Polaroid phenomenon also mirrored deeper changes in American life. The 1960s were a time of transformation, marked by new attitudes towards self-expression and instant gratification. People began to want their news, their entertainment, and even their photographs faster. And Polaroid, answered the call. This was also an era defined by a growing sense of individuality. Teens atop Mustang convertibles, parents capturing the first steps of their children in suburban backyards, and grandparents documenting cross-country journeys. How many childhoods were documented, first days of school immortalized, toothless grins frozen in time, thanks to the speed and accessibility Polaroid offered? Here's a fascinating bit of trivia. Polaroid science was so advanced for its day that the US government even tapped Land and his team to develop instant aerial reconnaissance cameras during World War II. The very technology that gave rise to your favorite family beach snapshots once helped shape the course of world history. Even more surprising, Polaroid's early film development required painstaking research that eventually led to breakthroughs in other industries, including eyeglass lenses and even color television technology. But what truly set 1960s Polaroid apart was its spirit of democratization. For the first time, anyone could be a photographer. The mystery and expense of dark rooms faded away, and amateur photographers, all ages, all backgrounds, joined in the fun. Do you remember the feeling of pride when you handed a fresh photo to a friend or grandchild? Suddenly, every living room and front porch became a photo studio, and "say cheese" echoed from coast to coast. The instant camera was an invitation to participate, not just observe. Your mom, your neighbor, that quiet cousin, everyone could be an image maker, and every occasion seemed worth capturing. And what about the colors? While early Polaroids were in elegant black and white, the 1960s saw a rush towards brilliant instant color photography. The introduction of color film in 1963, the legendary Polacolor, was a revelation. Birthdays, weddings, baseball games, these moments burst to life in hues the likes of which most families had never seen outside a movie theater. Did you know that the Beatles even favored Polaroid cameras for capturing candid tour moments, or that Andy Warhol carried one everywhere, turning ordinary scenes into pop art legend? Polaroid's cultural effect was immediate and pervasive. The cameras appeared in films, TV, and even advertisements, becoming status symbols for the middle class. It wasn't just about technology, it was about belonging and legacy. Who hasn't discovered a shoebox of old Polaroids in the attic, yellowed, curling at the edges, but bursting with memories that feel as new today as they did 5 decades ago? But that's not all. As the 1960s rolled on, Polaroid wasn't content to rest on its laurels. Competition was fierce, with Kodak and others eager to get a slice of the instant action. The next generation of Polaroid cameras would become even more iconic, affordable, and easy to use, ultimately ensuring their place in American law for decades to come. What innovations and surprises did Polaroid have in store as the 60s picked up momentum? Stay with us as we explore the breakthroughs and beloved models that made instant photography truly unforgettable. As we look back on the remarkable journey of Polaroid cameras throughout the 1960s, it's impossible not to feel a sense of wonder at how this unassuming device quietly reshaped the way we hold on to our most precious moments. We've wandered back to those sun-dappled afternoons when the click and whir of a Polaroid signaled the start of something special. From the earliest black and white prints, carefully timed, peeled, and revealed with bated breath, to the vibrant burst of the first Polacolor films, each photograph was a small miracle at our fingertips. These cameras didn't just document our lives, they drew families close, sparked laughter between friends, and turned birthdays, vacations, and Sunday suppers into celebrations of togetherness. No need to wait for rolls to be mailed out and developed. Instead, the instant gratification of seeing a memory take shape right before your eyes became a symbol of mid-century ingenuity and joy. Beyond just being a clever piece of technology, Polaroid became woven into the fabric of American culture. It reflected the decade's spirit of innovation, independence, and growing desire for connection. Whether it was children mugging for the camera, parents immortalizing school milestones, or grandparents carefully arranging snapshots on coffee tables, these little photos found their way into our lives and stayed, quietly chronicling the story of a generation. The Polaroid camera turned the everyday into the unforgettable. A lazy afternoon, a family gathering, the mess of icing after a birthday wish, each scene frozen in a square, ready to be rediscovered decades later. Even now, just the mention of those creamy borders conjures the flutter of anticipation we used to feel, watching the image blur into existence. What's truly magical, looking back, is how those instant snapshots went beyond simply preserving faces and places. They offered an invitation to be present, to savor the moment before it slipped away. In an era before selfies and digital filters, Polaroids captured us as we were, delighted, surprised, sometimes a little bit imperfect, but always real. So many of us still cherish the curled edges, the handwritten notes on the back, the fading colors that time can never quite erase. These souvenirs from the past remind us that once upon a time, memories weren't just stored in the cloud, they were pressed into albums, tucked into wallets, and hung proudly on refrigerator doors. Thinking back, how many of your own stories are still waiting in old shoeboxes or scrapbooks? A smile, a summer picnic, or a loved one long gone, their memory forever captured in shades of Polaroid. Are there moments from the 60s you wish you could see through that magical instant window just one more time? We'd love for you to share your favorite Polaroid memory in the comments below. Maybe a glimpse of your first car, a long-forgotten family reunion, or a candid shot that still brings a smile after all these years. Your stories, just like those old photos, help keep the magic alive for all of us who remember. If this trip down memory lane warmed your heart, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more journeys into the artifacts and experiences that shaped our lives. Share this with friends who fondly recall the days when a Polaroid camera could turn any afternoon into an adventure. Don't miss our next video, where we'll continue celebrating the moments and memories that make the past so vivid. After all, as we learned from those tiny, treasured snapshots, sometimes the most enduring magic happens in an instant, captured, cherished, and forever part of who we are.